Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Therese. If you're new here, we're so glad that you found us. And Happy New Year, y'all. We hope that you have a very blessed and happy New Year this year. So today I thought I would pop on and do a little video on kind of a New Year tradition for some folks, especially folks down here in certain parts of the South. They do this, I know. So we're going to make up some Hoppin' John today. So I thought I'd bring you along. The first thing I want to do is I've got a little history. Now, back when we used to make it back in the day, all I knew is it was kind of a superstitious thing supposed to help you bring in good luck and prosperity in the new year. But I've got a couple of stories I thought I'd share with you on the history of Hoppin' John and kind of some origins to it, I guess. So this is from Soul Food Classic Cuisine from the Deep South. It's a little book I have here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this read to you because it's interesting to know where traditions come from. So it says, Hoppin' John is about the most famous black-eyed pea dish to come out of the American South. It is traditionally eaten on New Year's Day to ensure good luck and prosperity for the coming year. Some folks even say that if you add cabbage to the menu, money will come flooding in as well. John Thorne explains why this dish is considered to be good luck by citing the saying, eat poor on New Year's and eat fat the rest of the year. There are various theories about how this dish came by its name. One tells of a certain John who came a-hoppin' when his wife took the dish out of the stove. Another of children hopping once around the table before the dish was served. And yet another says that it was named after a lively waiter. John Thorne also writes that etymologists believe the name is a corruption of pois à pigeon, hopefully I said that right, French for pigeon pea, another bean brought from Africa to the Americas and which flourishes throughout the Caribbean. Their beans and rice are always cooked together. In fact, Helen Mendez, the author of the African Heritage Cookbook, has suggested that since this is the only American dish in which beans and rice are cooked together, it may have been brought over from the West Indies by slaves. With its name angelicalized, hopefully I said that right, with its name angelicalized and the origin forgotten, folk legends naturally evolved to explain it. Choose your own theory, but first try the recipe so you'll know what all the fuss is about. Now, it's got a recipe in this. This is a fun book, again, but I am not using the recipe from this. There are many recipes out there and adaptations to this meal, and you don't have to use exactly what I'm using. I'll give you some options. So I'm going to go over the ingredients you need today, and there's not all that many, so we'll go ahead and take a look at what I will be using today, and I'll give you some substitutions or additions that you might want to add in your own Hoppin' John's recipe. So first off, I'm soaking some rice over here. As the story I read to y'all said, a lot of people do cook the rice with the beans. I'm not going to do that, and that's perfectly fine. It's your preference whether or not you want to do that. So I've been soaking the rice. I've got half a bag of black-eyed peas, dried beans in here, and I'm using a half because it's just the three of us. You could use a whole if you want to. I've been soaking them since last night, and I do recommend starting to soak this the night before if y'all want to. The next thing you're going to need, traditionally what they use in this recipe is ham hocks, and you can use ham hocks for sure. You can also use bacon. You can use andouille sausage. This is some ham that we had packaged up and in the freezer that I took out the other day to defrost, and I'm going to be slicing up or chopping up the ham and to put in. Just something to give it that flavor that you need. I'm going to do one sweet onion, 2 cloves of garlic, a green pepper. We have our green peppers from our garden this last year that are already ready to go that have been in the freezer. I'm going to use some of those. You're going to need, if you're doing a half a bag of the beans, 4 cups of a chicken broth. A whole package, you'll use 8 cups of chicken broth for it. Then whatever seasonings you want. This is a salt, pepper, and garlic blend, and then this is a Cajun seasoning. So this is what we're going to start with today. You can also add in celery for sure, and that's very common in this recipe. I just didn't have any. We don't care a lot for celery, so we're leaving that part out. First, I'm going to go ahead and chop up some of my vegetables and my ham. So we'll go ahead and get this done real quick. So first I'm going to start off by putting some bacon grease in my pan here and getting it going. And you have to excuse the condition of this Dutch oven. It's well loved. It gets used a lot. Then as this gets melted down here, I'm going to go ahead and add in the ham and the onions and start cooking them together. So that's where we're going to start, is with this. So now, y'all, I'm going to add in my green peppers. They are frozen, but they don't take as long to get soft as the onions do. So we'll let this cook for a little bit. We'll add our garlic in and go from there. Okay, y'all, that's been cooking for a little bit. I'm going to add our last of the vegetables in here, and that's some of the garlic that we chopped up. We're going to let this just simmer, and then we'll add in our seasonings, our beans, and our broth. So we've had the garlic in here for a couple of minutes. I'm going to add in about a teaspoon of Cajun seasoning and a teaspoon of a blend of garlic, salt, and pepper. Let's stir that around. This smells really good, guys. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and add my beans and my broth into this mixture. I've drained and rinsed my beans, so that's going to go in, as well as the 4 cups of broth. We're going to stir this all together. Now what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to go ahead and put my lid on this, and this is going to simmer and cook for about 40 minutes. So I'm also going to go ahead and get the rice cooking. I've got 2 cups of white rice, that white rice that you saw that I was soaking. This is a 1-to-1 ratio for this type of rice, so I've got 2 cups of water in here. I'm going to put a little bit of that blend of the garlic, salt, and pepper in it, just to give it a little seasoning. And then I'm going to put a spoonful of bacon grease in, just to give it a little extra oomph. So we'll put that on top there. We're going to go ahead and get this cooking while our other stuff, our Hoppin John, is simmering. Put it to sealing. Manual for 3 minutes, guys. So I thought I'd take you along as we make the greens to go on the side of the Hoppin John. You can get fresh green. I always recommend fresh when you can get them. I just knew what our schedule was going to be like over the next couple of days, and so I picked up some frozen greens. Collard greens are fairly common with this meal, but I did mixed greens, mixed southern greens. So I picked up a bag of this frozen. I'm going to show you how I'm going to prepare these to make them taste amazing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to turn this burner on, and it does start out on high. I have 2 cups of chicken broth, so I'm going to put in the 2 cups of chicken broth and let this come up to a boil. To the chicken broth, I'm going to add 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of butter and let it melt in there as well. And we're going to let this come up to a boil and be right back. Okay, to the chicken broth and the butter, I'm going to add in our frozen greens. I'm going to add in about a tablespoon of sugar. I'm going to add in about 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. I'm going to add in a little bit of that blend of seasonings we like to use that has salt, pepper, and garlic in it. I'm going to add in about a teaspoon as well, probably half teaspoon of the seasoning mix and about a teaspoon of garlic. About a half a teaspoon of onion. powder. I'm going to add in a pinch of cayenne. You can leave this out if you don't want any spice. A little bit more cayenne on that. There we go. I'm going to stir this, and this is going to cook for about 17 to 18 minutes, stirring it from time to time. It's going to make some really good greens. There we go. Okay, y'all, we have our plate finished. Traditionally, this is often served with cornbread. We have banana bread here. We're going to sub that in. It's all good. Whatever you have, use it. So that's what we're doing. So this is what the Hoppin' John looks like when we're finished here. We got our rice, and I'm going to put some of it on top of my rice. Then I'm going to serve the greens on the side. These look so good, guys. So good. Okay, and there you go. I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. It's really good, guys. I'm going to try some of the greens. Real good. Thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate y'all. Please like, subscribe, and share. May you all have a very blessed and happy new year.